students. Today we are going to start with a new chapter of NCERT of Science class 7, that is Respiration in Organism. Now before starting with the chapter, you know this that we all breathe, right? We take in air, we give out air. But we don't pay specific attention. How do we breathe? How do we breathe out? And we also don't know why do we breathe. Today we are going to study everything about breathing. How do we breathe? Why do we breathe? And what is the process, right? So as we all know, in our previous chapter we have studied about microscopic unit, that is cell. Cell is a structural basic unit of our body, of any organism. Organisms are made out of cells. So each and every part of my body is made out of cells, right? And these cells perform every function in my body, like transportation, excretion, respiration, and so on. To perform different function, my body cells require energy. And where do we get energy from? Yes, we get energy from food. As the motor cars, plane, train have their specific fuel, they run on fuel. In the same manner, we also depend upon fuel, and our fuel is food. We take in food, right? How do we get energy or stored energy from this food? We get the stored energy from the food through oxygen or with the help of oxygen. How? The glucose, that is food, present in cell takes oxygen, and with the help of oxygen, the glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So with the help of oxygen, the glucose gives out energy, right? And this process takes place within a cell. That is why we say it as a cellular respiration, because this process is taking place inside a cell. And the organism which use oxygen to break down glucose to get energy are called as aerobic, or we say this process as aerobic respiration. Okay, so the glucose in presence of oxygen gets broken down into water, carbon dioxide, and energy, and this is how energy is released from glucose with the help of oxygen. Then what about the organism which do not take air or which do not take oxygen? They also give out energy, but they give out the energy in absence of oxygen, like yeast, bacteria, some sort of bacteria which perform anaerobic respiration. So let's see what are the products. Okay, so in anaerobic respiration, glucose is broken down into alcohol, not water, alcohol, CO2, and energy in absence of oxygen. So the organism perform anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, we get water, CO2, and energy. In anaerobic respiration, we get alcohol, CO2, and energy. Do you think human beings also respire anaerobically? Yes. Sometimes for temporary purpose, even human beings perform anaerobic respiration. How? During physical activities or while performing any heavy exercises, what happens? Our body needs more energy, but the supply of oxygen to fulfill this energy demand is comparatively less. So the glucose in our muscles perform anaerobic respiration for temporary purpose. So, in absence of oxygen, glucose gets broken down in our muscles into lactic acid and energy. This is glucose. In this, the glucose is partially breakdown. It's not completely breakdown, right? So to break it down completely, we require more oxygen. And when you perform heavy exercises or when you perform any physical activity, you get muscle cramps. You get muscle cramps because of accumulation of lactic acid. And it is suggested that you should take hot water bath or massage. Why? Due to this, the blood circulation will improvise, and the blood is the media which carries oxygen, right? So the blood is the medium which carries oxygen. So the muscles will get oxygen, and this lactic acid will be broken down into carbon dioxide, water and energy again. So we came to know about aerobic respiration, about anaerobic respiration. Then what is breathing rate? Now, we keep on breathing all the time, but we don't realize this unless and until we breathe heavily or when we focus, right? One breath involves one inhalation and one exhalation, taking in air and exhaling out air. This is one breath. So, on an average, in 1 minute, a normal adult person breathes 15 to 18 times. That means one breath is inhalation and exhalation. So a person breathes 15 to 18 times in 1 minute. At rest, when you will perform any physical activity or when you run, the breathing rate increases, and the breathing rate is slower or slowest when you are sleeping. So now, we came to know that why we breathe, right? Now, let's move to the next topic, that is how do we breathe? How we take in air, right? We take in oxygen-rich air and give out carbon dioxide-rich air, right? We take in air through the nostrils. We have two nostrils, right? So we take in air through the nostril. The air passes through the nasal passage, which is nasal cavity, which has fine hairs, and these fine hairs trap all the impurities or dust, dirt, whichever things are present in air, because these things can harm the lungs, right? So in nasal cavity there is fine hairs, also mucus to trap all the dust particles. Then this air goes through our windpipe to the lungs. We will be seeing how. For that, we need to see human respiratory system. So the air enters from nostrils, as we have already discussed. Then the air passes through the nasal cavity. In this nasal cavity, we have blood vessels. We have fine hair particles, which basically helps to trap all the dust and any sort of pollen grains or dirt which has entered or which is going to enter with our air molecules. Now there is oral cavity. Oral cavity is your mouth, from where you take in food. Okay. So the air passes through the nasal passage and then it passes through pharynx. The pharynx is a point where the air passes through, or you can say it is the throat region. Pharynx is a throat region from where the air passes to trachea. Now as you can see, there is trachea. The trachea is basically windpipe through which the air passes. The trachea is also coated with rings of cartilage to protect it from any sort of damage or injury. Then as you can see, there is a rib cage. Basically, both the lungs are covered with rib cage, as lungs are delicate organs. But we are showing the rib cage at one side, and one side we are showing the structure of lungs. Now, this rib cage
protects your lung. The cavity inside the rib cage where the lungs are located is said to be chest cavity or thoracic cavity, where your lungs are located. So the lungs are located in chest cavity. Now the air passes through trachea and then it divides into several branches, or you can say several tubes of air. And here whole exchange of gases takes place, which you will learn in higher classes. Basically, below this, then you can find a dome-shaped diaphragm. Dome-shaped diaphragm is a muscle which is located just below your rib cage and lungs. The rib cage and diaphragm plays a major role in taking in air and giving out air. We will be seeing how. This is the structure of human respiratory system. Now, we will be seeing how the air gets into your lungs. How does the air comes into your lungs? The air comes from nostrils, as we have already discussed. So, the air comes from nostrils and it moves through the nasal passage or nasal cavity, where you have fine hairs. The fine hairs as well as mucus. The fine hairs and mucus helps to trap foreign particles, so that the dust or dirt or pollen grains, any sort of materials which can be harmful for you should not enter your lungs. Below this you can see this is the oral cavity. Oral cavity is your mouth from where you take in food. Okay. Above oral cavity you have nasal passage. So the air passes through the nasal passage and then it passes through pharynx. This region is said to be pharynx or the throat region. Then the air passes through the trachea. Now trachea is called as windpipe. Windpipe is also covered completely with rings of cartilage, bony structure, which is going to prevent your windpipe from any injury. In the same manner, your lungs are completely covered with rib cage, which is a bony structure again to protect your lungs, because lungs are delicate organ. Basically, both the lungs are covered with rib cages, but here we are showing you one side covered with rib cages and one side we are not covering it with a rib cage to show you the lung structure. Now the air enters through the trachea and then it gets into both the lungs. Further, the air moves to fine tubes, which are again differentiated into fine tubes. This is said to be bronchioles. Now, bronchioles are the place which is the fine tubes through which the air passes, and at end of each bronchioles you will be finding the sac-like structure which is said to be alveoli. The whole exchange of gases takes place inside the lungs, which you will be studying in your further classes. We talked that the air comes in, get into both the lungs. The lungs, these branches are then divided into more fine windpipe-like structures or wind tubes, which is said to be bronchioles, and each bronchioles end into air-like structure called as alveoli, where all exchange of gases takes place, right? Now at the bottom you can see the dome-shaped muscle which is located just below your rib cage and lungs. This muscle is said to be diaphragm. Now diaphragm and ribs play a major role when you inhale and exhale air. We will be seeing how.
So now we have seen how the air goes into lungs. But as we just said, the ribs and diaphragm play a major role in inhalation and exhalation. How? When you take in air, we know that the diaphragm is present just below the rib cage and lungs, right? So there is no space. When you inhale air, the ribs move upward and outward. That is why the chest cavity expands, or the chest expands when you inhale air. When you take in lot of air, the chest expands, right? So the ribs and the rib cage moves upward and outward, and the diaphragm moves downward. This allows some space, and that is why the air gets filled into lungs. Now when the air has to be exhaled out, this ribs and diaphragm move back to their position, pushing out all the air that has been filled in lungs, right?
As you can see here, whenever you inhale, the ribs move upward, diaphragm moves downward and then back to its position. Again, upward and back to its position.
So we know that we take oxygen rich air, but what do we exhale out? Let's see. Now for that, we are going to conduct an experiment to see whether the CO2 is present in exhaled air. So here in a test tube, we are going to take lime water. Lime water is calcium hydroxide plus water. Now lime water turns milky when carbon dioxide gas is added to the solution, or when carbon dioxide gas is passed through the solution. Okay. So in this solution, we are not going to pass any carbon dioxide gas. We are going to take a straw and we will be blowing some air. When we blow air, we'll be blowing some amount of air through the straw. After that, we will see that the solution turns milky, which indicates that CO2 is present in the exhaled air. So now we are going to see the proportion of oxygen and carbon dioxide in inhaled air as well as exhaled air. In inhaled air, oxygen is 21%, carbon dioxide is 0.04%, and in exhaled air, the oxygen becomes 16.4% and carbon dioxide 4.4%. Can you see? That is the reason we say the exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide. We came to know the breathing process in human beings. What about other organisms? What about other animals? Do you feel they also have lungs just like we do? And they also perform the respiration just like we do? Well, yes, they perform respiration, but all animals do not perform respiration just like we do. They do not have lungs. The animals that have lungs are mammals, amphibian, reptiles. We are going to talk about some examples like elephant, goat, dog, cat, frog, which is an amphibian. They all have pair of lungs and they perform respiration just like we do, right? With the help of lungs. Then what about small insects? Do you feel they have tiny lungs? No, they do not have tiny lungs. Let's see how insects breathe. Okay, we are going to talk about cockroaches. The cockroach breathe through or perform the exchange of gas through spiracles. Now when you see the body of cockroach, on the sides there are some small tiny openings which allows the air to come in, and that tiny pores are called as spiracles. The spiracles are internally connected with fine air tubes called as trachea. This trachea carries the air to each and every tissue, ultimately to all the cells. And in the same manner, it takes out carbon dioxide through these tubes and throw them away through spiracles. Then talking about earthworms. Earthworms respire through their skin. They have a moist and slimy skin. But we also know that the frogs respire through lungs. But frogs are also able to respire through skin, just like the earthworms do, because frogs live in water as well as on the land. So when they live on land, they respire through the lungs, but while they are inside the ponds, they respire through their skin. They take in the dissolved oxygen present in water.
So as you can see, the earthworm take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide through their skin. So they perform the exchange of gases through their skin.
Then what about the organisms which live inside the water? Yes, we are talking about fishes. The fishes live inside the water and they also perform exchange of gases. But they use dissolved oxygen which is present in water. They take in water through their mouth and this water washes the gills. Inside the gills there are blood vessels. And at the same time, when the water is passing away, the blood vessels absorb the dissolved oxygen and then transport or diffuse the oxygen to various organs.
As you can see here, the water comes in through the mouth and then this water washes the gills having blood vessels.
Then what about plants? Plants respire? Yes, when plants respire and plants are able to perform the exchange of gases through their leaves, through their stem, also through their roots. The leaves perform exchange of gases through the tiny pores present on the leaf surface called as stomata, and then through their root heads they take in the air which is present inside or between the soil particles. Then also the stem has pores called as lenticels. So through the lenticels they perform exchange of gases. So this is all about respiration in different organisms. So you just saw how respiration is important as well as it varies from organism to organism.